We're told that there's someone riding a bicycle, and every time the wheel goes around, they do about 5.5, maybe 5.6 feet of distance on the bicycle. And that they make something over about 4,000 revolutions of the bicycle wheel. The question is, to the nearest zero point 0.1 mile, how far did the bicyclist go? Well, you can do this in about 10 seconds. I'm going to show you how. You just take the number of revolutions, which I'm going to say is about 4,000, times the number of feet per revolution, which is about 5. I'm not being accurate here. And that's about 20,000 feet. And how far is 20,000 feet? Well, it's about 5 miles. If you know that a mile is about 5,000 feet. So if I divide that by 5,000 feet, what do I get? Well, that's about 4 miles. Not super accurate. I'm going to be a little bit off, but at least to a first approximation, we know what the answer is now. And if you want to see how this works a little more precisely, right, a little closer to the actual details of the problem, just try with the numbers that we have here. And this I could not do in my head. I would need a calculator for this. So if I take 4,248 revolutions and I multiply that by 5.76 feet per revolution, what's going to happen here is kind of neat. These units cancel out, and it might make sense to you algebraically that you get something where the only units on it is no longer revolutions but feet, right? Maybe that makes sense to you. Maybe you've been through physics and chemistry enough to see this before. But if you just think about it another way and you say to yourself, every time the wheel goes around, I do 5 feet. And if the wheel goes around 4,000 times, well, that makes 20,000 feet. So there we go. Now we just need to turn this into miles. Okay, how do we convert the feet measurement into miles measurement? Well, it's just like if you're going inches to feet or feet to inches, right? You have to divide or multiply by something. And this can often get people kind of tied up here. So I want to show you how I do it. 4,000, take my feet measurement. Okay, that's in feet. And I'm going to multiply this by the number 1. And everyone knows that multiplying by 1 doesn't change anything, except my number 1 is going to look a little funny. I'm going to say 1 mile divided by 5,280 feet. And everyone knows that, well, maybe you know that 1 mile is 5,280 feet. So that means the top and bottom of this fraction are the same. And that means it'll cancel out and become 1. But instead of just canceling out, I'm going to instead multiply the feet by the feet. And what that turns into is 2,468.48 divided by 5,280. And that gives me my final answer of 4.63 miles. It does take some practice to get used to these unit conversions, but this is the way it works. You have to figure out what to multiply or what to divide, and that will get you your answer.